This is a Power 98.7 podcast. Now we're talking. Subscribe to Power 98.7 podcasts in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There's more on power987.co.za.
And we're moving to our Entrepreneurship Corner this morning with Kabelo Mutemi from Dr. Shine a Lot. And Kabelo is the founder and owner of Dr. Shine a Lot. Of course, we're going to be unpacking the business model, Kabelo's business model, asking a couple of questions and trying to understand the business in itself. And you're more than welcome to do the same on 0861 987 000. Tweet us on @PowerFM 987 #PowerZone. And you can tag myself on @Toriso Maloka and tag Musa Mafera Chuma on @MMusa And this business has started off as a hobby. I love it when people turn their passion projects into income streams. One of my favorite stories, honestly. And he started cleaning his own sneakers, and then he decided to try out by cleaning family shoes. And that's how then it was identified that, hey, man, we can actually make some really decent business out of this. And we're chatting to Kabelo this morning, and Kabelo is going to take us through the business model. Yeah, Dr. Shine a Lot. Kabelo, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning to the Power FM listeners, and thank you for having me.
Kabelo, nobody enjoys washing shoes. There's not a single person that I know that enjoys washing shoes. And so much so, I have 2 bags right now that are filled with at least 8 or 9 pairs of sneakers right now that are dirty. So now I'm wearing my new ones. That's where we are right now because I don't enjoy washing shoes. And you tapped into this market and you said, you know what? It's fine. I'll leverage off of laziness. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Shine a Lot.
So Dr. Schneider a Lot is a sneaker cleaning business which cleans all footwear brands, makes, and materials, and we are currently located in the north of Pretoria, Kashia. So the business started off as a hobby, like you said, whereby I started cleaning my own sneakers, and then I saw the market that, hey, let me try this out and actually clean my family's shoes. And then from there, I identified that there is actually a market for this, as people are pretty much lazy to wash their own shoes, or rather don't know how to.
Kabelo, I have to highlight this, and then Musa's highlight is indicating this as well. You sound really, really young.
Yes, I'm only 21.
You're 2000 on the dotted line, actually.
No, I'm a 99. I'm a 99.
Oh, so you're turning 22 then? Okay, so let's not put you on the 2000s mark at this point. But young as you are, how do you start this? When do you start this? And how have you grown your business?
I started my business last year in March 2020, while the country was still in pretty much lockdown level 5, and pretty much not going to school. I was just like home most of the time, and then that's when I decided, let me actually try this out while juggling both the business and school. And in terms of growing my business, I've just really been dependent on word of mouth and the power of social media such as Instagram and Twitter.
And you've made some level of success, I want to guess.
Yes, I have.
Here's what I want us to talk about, and I'm going to share a very personal story right now. I had someone come over to help me clean the house. I have someone who helps me on a weekly basis, and part of what I'd asked for that particular Wednesday afternoon was that I had hand washed my own sneakers, and I wanted them to be dried. Now the problem with me and drying sneakers, especially if they are white, is if you lean them in a certain direction, there's going to be some sort of marks that end up coming at the end of the shoe, right? So what I wanted was for her to help me make sure that they dry without those marks. What she decided to do was to throw them in the tumble dryer. So now we are looking at suede that might be a little destroyed. We're looking at disformation of the shape of the shoe. What does your business do for the repairing of shoes that have been, by mistake, maybe? Because I don't want to accuse anyone of anything here. How do you then repair such a detrimental situation?
In that case, like, we give sneakers and shoes that receive lots of love and attention. And as I assure that the customer will get back their shoes as if they purchased new pair of sneakers or shoes, as we use the best products in the market for the right material.
And I mean, maybe just another one from me is you're probably competing with very big brands here, right? And I can think of maybe 2 or 3 at the top of my head right now. How do you then fare as far as favorability for price for the products you use or for the service itself?
With us, basically, we start charging from like 60 Rand which is pretty much reasonable, not too high or not too low, just in between. And the highest that we charge on shoes is like basically 100 Rand, which just depends on the material of the shoe. So we're pretty much still very in between in terms of our prices.
Kabelo, I'm going to double click on what Musa has asked around pricing, right? And this is me also coming from a space where literally 3 days ago, Kabelo, I asked for a quotation for sneakers, for washing sneakers. And I mean, I hear your pricing, but I'm also quite concerned, if I may share that, you know, when we sort of lower pricing, are you not sometimes standing at the danger of not meeting your operational expenses or making just enough profit to can continue? And I ask because sort of the pricing, I mean, I asked from a high end one, right? A very popular one. And I just felt that noise. I can't afford to pay this amount of money for 8 pairs of sneakers. And then I asked from the second one, and the price was very fair. I actually agreed to the pricing. But I also, in my head, I calculated that this is actually a little bit costly for him because he says he's going to come collect. He says he's going to go wash. In your particular model, do you find that your pricing substantiates for your operational costs and all the people that assist you as well? You know, are you able to make a satisfactory profit that can sustain the business going forward?
Yes, given my pricing, I looked at all the operational costs, and in terms of collection and delivery, we charge an additional fee of 100 Rand, which that goes towards petrol. And in terms of people that help me out, such as my part-time employees, they do get a certain percentage in terms of how many shoes they wash or in terms of how we agreed in terms of payment. So it does really go a long way in terms of how my prices are set.
And in terms of what you make use of in like the washing process, because I'm always so curious about that, especially when you start speaking around, different materials, different makes, because sneakers have now become so intricate, right? You find one shoe that is, I mean, I'm looking at the sneakers that I'm wearing right now. It literally has pleather, leather, suede, rubber. There's multitude of material on there. What's the process? Have you, and what's the research process? What's the machinery that you use as well? Is that not expensive for you?
In terms of the products that I use Sneaker Lab products, and they have like sprays that are specifically made for suede, leather, or any other material. So therefore, I don't just take the shoe and put it in water. I just use like a brush and cloth, and then I just brush the shoe gently so that I do not, for instance, the suede does not go into the leather or the leather does not go onto the suede.
I have one concern, Kabelo, here, because sneakers are quite valuable to sneaker collectors. Myself personally, I will tell you the honest truth. The last time I actually wore a formal shoe is a time I actually cannot remember. I live in sneakers day in, day out. And I want to say I value my collection quite well, right? So if we're going to trust you to come pick up my sneakers, keep them wherever you keep them, clean them and return them, how do you guarantee me safety that these sneakers are going to return to me? And secondly, in the quality that I probably gave them to you in?
Honestly speaking, in terms of that, before I take your shoes, I make you sign a consent form, which has terms and conditions of which you need to agree to before I can go back home with your shoes. And then in terms of the washing process, if it gets to a point where I do damage your shoes, then I need to communicate with you about it and find a way that I will replace the shoe or, find an agreement in terms of replacing the shoe, like I said. But so far, so good. I haven't had a complaint or, or a situation where I had to buy someone a new pair of sneakers or shoes.
Which is pretty amazing.
That's impressive.
Would think. I just want to find, in terms of your placement, because you said you Oko Akashia, right? In terms of your placement, what are the challenges that you're facing within that particular area, or have you been able to maneuver through those? And just being, and I would assume also that you're operating from home.
Yes, I am operating from home.
Yeah. So what are some of the challenges there?
The only challenge that I really have is that people this side aren't really sneakerheads like myself, so it's a bit difficult to get customers from this side because most of my customers are from like Joburg, Pretoria East. So from the north, the sneaker heads are a bit, yeah.
I was about to say to you, Kabelo, that you heard me mention earlier on that I've got about 8 pairs that are sitting in bags literally at the moment. The reason I'm wearing my new shoes is because my shoes are all dirty at this point in time. But another thing, and just to share a personal part here, so I've been battling with, which the suspicion is that it's some sort of an infection, right? Where I almost can't repeat shoes, actually, at this point in time. Is there a particular treatment, and I'm asking out of complete naivety and not knowing here, Kabelo, is there a particular sort of shoe treatment or I'm going to call it soap, or chemical, right, that can be used for that, or that you make use of for that? And for example, like I'm saying to you that if I'm bringing my 2 bags of shoes to Kabelo, which I plan on bringing my 2 bags of shoes to you, what certainty do I have that there's going to be that chemical of some sort that is used for someone who has sensitivity such as myself? Because it's on my own sweat.
On the inside, yeah.
Yeah, on the inside. So it's my own sweat, essentially, that I have a problem with.
In terms of the inside, there is a product that I use. Like I said, I use Sneaker Lab products. So there is a chemical that you can use for the inside of the shoe. Because like myself, once my shoe starts having a different sort of smell, for me, they're dirty regardless of how they are outside. So there is like a chemical that you can use for the insides of your shoes.
Is this purely for odor removal, or are you able to at least make sure that the person who's going to wear them again, the chemical itself that you've cleaned with is not going to make them react to the shoe itself when it comes back?
Yes, you won't react to it. It's just to give the shoe a fresh smell as if you purchased a new pair of sneakers or shoes.
First of all, I'm really impressed that you were able to, especially during the lockdown, come up with a business idea such as this one. As Teresa said at the beginning, we are all very lazy to wash our own shoes. I'm particularly not very lazy. I think I do enjoy making sure that my shoes are clean, but I'm currently sitting with a situation where my shoes now need to be repaired for shape and for one of my I don't want to say brands here, but one of my sneakers has lost some of its branding because in the tumble dryer some of it peeled off. But I'm gonna need some form of repair that is not necessarily cleaning. Is it possible for your business to do so? I don't want to say cobbler work, but to repair shoes that have been slightly peeled off or damaged in that sense?
In terms of that, we haven't really gotten to that yet because I know a lot of people wash their sneakers with washing machines, and that's the biggest red flag as that damages the shoes a lot. Mm-hmm. So we haven't really maneuvered that yet, like in terms of if like your Nike tick has disappeared, so we can't really bring that back,
Absolutely, I hear you. So, Kabelo, here's the thing, right? I'm going to give you my sneakers.
Okay.
I'm going to, I get out, I'm making this commitment on air. I'm going to give you my sneakers and I'm going to let you do your magic with my sneakers, and I'll give you a review for your business. How's that?
Okay, I'd really appreciate that.
I'm going to do that. So it's 8 pairs. It's different materials. It's different shapes. It's different problems. Some haven't been washed in forever. Some are sports shoes. Some are hiking shoes. Some are, my deepest, the pressures of the treasures of my heart. So I'm going to give them to you, and I will provide a review. How's that? Are we happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Thank you so much. And Kabelo, we do wish you all the best. How do people get a hold of you?
We are available on Instagram and Twitter at Dr Schneider _SA, and they can also find us on Google at Dr Schneider.
Dr. Shine a Lot, and that is Kabelo Moteme there from Dr. Shine a Lot. If you would like to have your sneakers cleaned by Kabelo, go to Dr. Shine a Lot on the Instagram page. Kabelo, thank you so much.
Thank you, Parkin, for having me.
We appreciate you. That is Kabelo Moteme there.